This machine looks harmless enough to ride around a warehouse all day, but it's actually one of the leading causes of workplace deaths in logistics and industrial settings worldwide. Forklifts are everywhere, moving pallets, stacking inventory, keeping supply chains running. They seem simple, almost like oversized golf carts. But their design creates a serious blind spot problem that most people never think about. Because forklifts are rear-heavy for balance, drivers often can't see what's directly behind or beside them, especially when carrying tall loads that block forward visibility too. That combination turns crowded warehouse floors into genuinely dangerous spaces. Tipping over is one of the biggest risks. Turning too sharply, especially with a raised load, shifts the center of gravity fast, and a forklift can roll before the driver even reacts. Pedestrian accidents are another major factor. Workers walking near active forklifts can be struck simply because the machine's size and turning radius aren't intuitive from the ground. That's why modern warehouses rely heavily on marked pathways, mirrors, proximity sensors, and strict speed limits, all designed to reduce a risk that comes from something as ordinary looking as a forklift. This machine can lift tons of earth in a single scoop, but its biggest danger isn't the digging arm. It's the blind spots created by its massive rotating body. Excavators are everywhere on construction sites, digging foundations, trenches, and clearing land. They look slow and predictable, almost lumbering. But that perception is exactly what makes them risky around workers on foot. The cab sits high, and the machine rotates a full 360 degrees, meaning the rear and sides swing through space the operator can't always monitor closely, especially in tight or busy job sites. One of the most common accident types involves trench collapses. Excavators dig deep, narrow trenches quickly, but unsupported trench walls can give way without warning, putting anyone working nearby at serious risk. Rollovers are another major concern. Working on uneven or sloped ground, especially near the edge of a dig site, can shift the machine's balance fast if the operator isn't extremely careful. That's why modern job sites enforce strict exclusion zones, spotter systems, and trench shoring requirements, all built specifically to manage the risks created by a machine this powerful and this common. This machine can lift entire shipping containers hundreds of feet into the air, but that same power makes even a tiny mistake potentially catastrophic for everyone below it. Cranes are essential on construction sites and ports, moving materials that would be impossible to handle by hand. They look incredibly stable, towering over everything around them, almost like permanent fixtures. But that stability depends entirely on precise conditions. Load calculations have to be exact. If a crane operator misjudges weight, wind speed, or angle, the entire structure can become unbalanced, and that's when things go seriously wrong. Dropped loads are one of the most dangerous incidents. A cable failure or rigging mistake can send tons of material falling from extreme heights, with almost no room for anyone below to react in time. Structural collapse is the other major risk. Cranes assembled incorrectly or operated beyond their rated capacity can tip or buckle entirely, sometimes taking down nearby structures with them. That's why crane operation involves strict certification, constant load monitoring, and exclusion zones enforced around the base, all designed to control the risks of a machine built to move things far heavier than anything a human ever could. This machine spins fast enough to cut through solid wood in seconds. But that same speed is exactly why it's responsible for so many serious workplace injuries every year. Industrial circular saws are standard equipment in construction, woodworking, and manufacturing. They look simple, almost like an oversized version of something you'd find in a home garage. But the scale and power here are completely different. The blade spins at extremely high speeds, meaning there's very little reaction time if a hand or material shifts even slightly during a cut, especially under repetitive, fast-paced work conditions. Kickback is one of the most dangerous events. If the blade binds against the material unexpectedly, the saw can jerk backward violently and unpredictably, catching operators off guard in a fraction of a second. Guard removal is another major factor. Some workers disable safety guards to work faster, not realizing that guard is the main barrier standing between the spinning blade and their hands. That's why modern regulations require blade guards, push sticks, anti-kickback devices, and mandatory training, all aimed at controlling the risks created by a tool that cuts through wood as easily as it could injure a person. This machine can turn an entire tree branch into mulch in seconds. But that same efficiency is exactly what makes accidents involving it so severe when something goes wrong. Wood chippers are common in landscaping, forestry, and disaster cleanup after storms. They look almost playful, like a loud garden tool, But the mechanism inside is far more aggressive than most people realize. Once material enters the feed chute, internal rollers pull it in automatically and continuously, meaning there's no easy way to stop the process the instant something unexpected gets caught. Clothing or gloves getting snagged is one of the most common triggers. Loose fabric can catch on branches being fed in, and the machine's pulling force doesn't discriminate between wood and whatever else is attached to it. Because the feeding mechanism is designed to be powerful and self-sustaining, operators need serious distance and constant awareness, since hesitating for even a second near the intake can be far too late. That's why safety protocols emphasize fitted clothing, push sticks for small branches, emergency reverse controls, and strict distance rules, all built around a machine whose simple job hides one of the least forgiving margins for error in the industry. This machine can flatten solid metal with thousands of pounds of force in a single motion, and that crushing power is exactly why it's linked to some of the most severe injuries in manufacturing. Power presses and hydraulic presses are core equipment in factories, shaping metal parts for everything from car panels to household appliances. They look almost calm compared to spinning saws or moving cranes, closing slowly and precisely. But that calmness is deceptive. The danger isn't speed, it's force. These machines are built to compress material with enormous pressure, meaning even a brief moment with a hand under the die can result in catastrophic injury. Two-hand controls exist specifically because of this. Requiring both hands on separate buttons keeps them away from the press zone, but disabling or bypassing that system removes the one safeguard designed to prevent exactly this outcome. Unexpected cycling is another major risk. Electrical faults or maintenance errors can cause a press to activate without warning, catching workers off guard during setup or clearing a jam. That's why regulations require light curtains, interlocks, lockout procedures, and mandatory two-hand operation, all engineered around a machine whose quiet, steady motion hides one of the most punishing forces in any factory.